Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and in today's video we are doing ourselves another game review. Yeah, so I recently just beat Spider-Man, or Marvel's Spider-Man, the Ps4 game, and I have to say, it was freaking fun. Technically I should have done this video like 2 weeks ago, and I've been putting it off. And I don't know why. Well, technically, I should have been playing this game like 2 years ago when it came out.
You're late.
But I'm just now getting to it, and wow, this game, I have a lot of really good things to say about it. So we'll go, just like normal, we'll go through some of the things that I liked about it and some of the things I didn't like about it.
Felicia's keeping busy.
Well, we're waiting.
But I'm catching up.
One of my
Let's see what she
favorite
hit this
things
time.
that I liked about this game is that the combat was super fun. There was never a time that I felt like the game was particularly hard. You were always like in control of the fight. Even when you get like swarmed by a bunch of enemies, it was just really fun to mix the new combat that you got, the new skills you acquired, with some of the new stuff that you get from like the suits. Certain suits have certain like upgrades. I didn't use a whole lot of them. I didn't particularly find a lot of them very useful, but I really liked like the electric one that shoots like a big electric wave, and the one that gives you like boosted damage per second for, I think it's like 30 seconds or something like that. So yeah, it was really fun mixing that along with some of the new web shooters that you acquire throughout the game. That was, all of it was just super fun, and it was fresh that you can mix up the different things. And once you kind of got used to like a web shooter or a certain ability, you leveled up at a steady pace that you can unlock different web shooters, different abilities, and so the combat was never dull, in my opinion. It was always fresh. Another thing that I really enjoyed was web swinging through the city. I don't know why. I mean, it's just like a little thing that you could just like web through the whole island of Manhattan, and it was just super fun. It does take a bit of a learning curve at first. I would say like the first hour, maybe hour and a half, I just struggled with the web shooters. They were just difficult. I don't know, I kept running into buildings, but you know, after about that little learning curve, like, I could just swing through the entire city like at lightning fast speeds. It was super fun. But yeah, the web swinging, that was also super fun. Another thing that I really liked was the cosmetic options. I've said this in plenty of other videos. I'm a big fan of customizing my person the way I like to. Granted, you can't like change the suits, but you had enough suit variety that it felt like I could choose the one that I wanted to. You can just do the suit that it gives you at the very beginning. You can play that throughout the whole game if you want to. You can change the different suits. Yeah, there's just a ton of suits. The suit that I probably did like the most was the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit. That is my favorite suit of all time. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, and those Spider-Man suits are freaking cool. But I don't know, just something about the Maguire suit that just looks freaking sick, and I love it. And I love that we got to, that's in the game, that you can play as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man the entire time if you wanted to, which is pretty much what I did for a majority of the game.
They love me.
Granted, I did switch to different suits because some of the suits also look super cool. Another big thing that a lot of people I know enjoy too is that the story was actually a really good story. They didn't do like what they do with a lot of other games, or especially with like superhero stuff. Like, we've heard all like the origin stories. This jumps right into Spider-Man being Spider-Man. It kind of gave the hint that he's been Spider-Man for a while, as he's already fought like a lot of these big villains like Electro, Scorpion, Rhino, you know, Vulture, all those ones he's fought in before. And so that was, so you're pretty far into being Spider-Man. But yeah, the story, obviously you're playing as Spider-Man, but you are interacting with Otto Octavius, which is Doc Ock, which is the villain. And throughout the whole story, it had me like, okay, I know he's a bad guy, but is he gonna turn now? Is he gonna turn now? And then when he finally does turn into the evil Doc Ock, it actually caught me by surprise. I was like, wait, what? He's evil already? Like, I don't know. The story itself was a very good story. I loved the character. I'm already drawing a blank. It's been like 2 weeks since I played this game.
Who are we talking about?
Oh, Mr. Lee. He's like the negative man. That I don't know a whole lot about him personally as a villain, but I really enjoyed his story arc. It was super fun. A lot of the boss, there wasn't like a big boss fights. There wasn't too many. There's a few there, like you fought like Electro and Vulture at the same time, and then Scorpion and Rhino. And both of those fights were really fun. My favorite fight was definitely the fight at the very end where you fought Doc Ock. That was freaking awesome. And I love the suit that it gives you. It gives you like the anti-Ock suit, which just lets you just spam web shooters like freaking crazy. That was super awesome. I also kind of liked the little puzzles that it gives you. Like you can, like when you go into Doc Ock's lab, you can do like these different things to try to fix the tech. And I mean, it's simple, just trying to make the circuit board work. But I mean, it was fresh. It was something different. I did like that you got to play a little bit as Mary Jane and Miles Morales. Granted, Miles Morales didn't have Spider-Man powers until the very, very end. That's one of the post-credit scenes is Miles showing us that he has Spider-Man powers, which was super cool, which is obviously leading up to this year's upcoming game, Miles Morales Spider-Man, which I'm super hyped for. But yeah, it was kind of cool playing as both of them because they didn't have abilities, and so it was more of like a stealth. You had to stealth your way past enemies, and at one point, MJ gets a taser, so you can kind of stealth and then tase a few enemies. I did enjoy those parts. Those were all pretty fun parts.
Elevator controls.
Another thing I liked is that as you're swinging through the city, like Peter just always is cracking jokes, which is funny and awesome because that's exactly how he is in a lot of like the comics. He's just like the very like cheesy humor kind of thing, and I enjoyed that.
Time to unlock that.
The Easter eggs that were in this were also kind of cool too. Like there's Avengers Tower. There's I forget the name of it. The building that Doctor Strange is in. That's got the weird symbol for, you know what I'm talking about. That building. I forget what it's called, but yeah, there's like quite a few like little Easter eggs like that. Like even part of the city that you fight in is Hell's Kitchen, which is where Daredevil is from. He is from Hell's Kitchen. So a lot of Easter eggs. I'm super curious to see where they move the franchise to the actual second game. And so I'm wondering if Miles Morales Spider-Man is more like a filler to what's to come for Marvel Spider-Man 2. But yeah, those were some of like the things that I really enjoyed. Like combat, super satisfying. The web swinging, super satisfying. Once you get past that little learning curve, of course, because it was quite difficult at the very beginning. Yeah, the story was super great. I loved all the suits. I loved the abilities. I didn't quite use all the abilities, like I said, but a lot of them were super fun. And it really just changed up the combat. That's the main thing that I enjoyed, is that like it just kept me playing and playing and playing. So some things that I didn't quite like was, I guess I did have a little bit of an issue with the learning curve with the web shooters, or not web shooters, just web swinging. But I wouldn't say that was really a complaint. It was just me not being very good. Another thing is that the enemy camps just kind of seemed like they got the same things. And so even though, you know, the enemies were pretty much the same, the combat did kind of counteract that by being, you know, different with the web shooters and being fresh. But I do wish that like some of like the car chases were a little bit different, because they're all got like the standard like jump on the car, pull the dudes out, stop the car. It wasn't really anything particularly different. But that's not really like a issue, that's just like a nitpicky thing. Another thing that I didn't quite like, which I don't know if this counts, but I'm not really liking the DLC as much, like at all. Like the main game was awesome, the story was good, and then I have the 3 DLCs for it, and I'm currently, so I guess my review is but I've only done 2 of the 3. I'm currently just finished, I shouldn't say currently, I just finished the Turf Wars one, and so the one I'm starting is the Silver Sable. But the Black Cat one was interesting. It was weird because it almost seemed like Peter and Black Cat had more on-screen chemistry than him and MJ. So that was, I mean, I was all for it, but it was different. But yeah, just like the stories, there's just, for a DLC, they just didn't really add much, which I guess it's DLC, so, I mean, they could have just added all those things that I feel like in the main game, and it would have just made the game more, added more to it, because the whole main game, like, you're finding all these Black Cat things, and you don't actually hear anything from Black Cat until the DLC, so, that was just one thing that I didn't particularly like. Another thing that I didn't really like, which is also just a nitpicky thing, is the rockets, man. Enemies everywhere, just, I'd be full health and I just get spammed with rockets. Like, where did these guys come from? There were so many dudes, like, in certain areas that I felt like I had to dodge every 2 seconds because I was getting shot with rockets. Which, like I said, I don't know if this, like, is a negative thing, so I guess I really don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about it. Just things that I know that I sucked at in the game. So yeah, rockets were freaking crazy. And then another thing that I thought was a little annoying was when you're web swinging through the city and you're flying down these buildings, and then all of a sudden, like, a Sable agent from who knows where snipes you out of the sky, and you fall down and ruins how fast you're going, and it just takes a minute to build up that speed again. That was kind of annoying, but yeah, overall, like, this was an amazing game. Amazing game, amazing Spider-Man.
Please, no! 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 No!
Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, overall, like, I really enjoyed this game. Just like with some of the other older games, I don't know why it took me so long to get things. I don't think I was broke, but maybe I was, I don't know. I think just my gameplay, like, experience has gone from only doing, like, shooters type games to a lot more, like, single player games. I don't know, I'm not really into the whole multiplayer shooters anymore, which is something that I was a huge fan of back in the day, like Call of Duty and stuff. And nowadays I'm just like, I don't really care too much for Call of Duty or whatever shooters out, like Destiny and stuff. I'm never been a super huge fan, but yeah, super fun. I highly recommend anyone that hasn't played this game yet to definitely pick it up. I'm pretty sure I saw it at Walmart like recently for like $30, and that was with the DLCs included, so that's an awesome price. And yeah, I can't wait till the Miles Morales comes out later this year. Definitely saving up for a PS5 and to get, you know, a few of those games when they come out. Super hyped for when they finally make Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2. But yeah, those are like the things that I enjoyed the most from Spider-Man. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to my review. More reviews to come. I am almost finished with Mortal Shell, so review will be coming on that soon. If you haven't seen what that is, subscribe and you'll find out. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. And those that are subscribed, you guys are freaking awesome. Thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. We're currently at 162 subscribers, I think. I haven't actually looked in a couple days. But yeah, we're almost to 200. We're 40 shy, so we're super close. And yeah, stay tuned for next time. I can't talk apparently. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.